Hello, everyone. We are back after a little break. There's been a few things happening, but yeah, we're back now. Happy to be back. Jordan, Dan, how are we doing?
Not too bad. Not too bad. I've just been to the gym for the first time in 3 months.
Nice.
So I'm back at the gym now,
It's
which
good.
is nice.
Yeah,
Sure, just
how
strength
long has
building.
it been since you've been back to the gym?
I injured my wrist in March.
Jesus, yeah.
One left hook has kept me out of the gym for fucking
That's crazy, isn't it?
that long. Yeah. But it's all fine now, which is good.
Good. It's all healed up all right then, I'll take it.
Mm-hmm.
Nice.
Yeah, it wasn't until like a few weeks ago that I stopped getting pain when weight bearing, which is fucking insane. But yeah, we're there now, so
We're there.
it's all good.
It's all good. Dan, what have you been up to?
I did my garden.
Nice.
Nice.
With my dad over the past couple of weeks. So yeah, put a patio out. Yeah, ticking over a little bit, just with a little bit of work and stuff, and nothing major really. I bought a Jeep.
Oh yeah,
nice.
I saw it. Yeah, I think is it the black Jeep?
Yeah, like the it's called the, I think it's unlimited. But I want to take it 4x4 in, so I need to get it all
Nice.
kitted out. So a new project, which will be good.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. Apart from that, and some holidays in it, so kids.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Kids are off, so that's
I saw you on a boat.
Oh yeah, we went on a boat. I took a little boat out down the River Ouse.
Oh yeah.
With the kids and that. So yeah, just a few family little holidays. Got like a little challenge coming up the weekend. The free Yorkshire Peaks.
Nice.
So that'll be interesting. That's it's a long way. It's a trek. So it's basically a marathon up 3 peaks.
Oh wow.
So hopefully, yeah, it's 40k. So I'm
bloody hell.
I'll be intrigued to see if I can do it. I haven't done 40k in a long time. So yeah, so it's going to be a big challenge, and I've got sciatica at the minute, which is not great.
Yeah, that's shit.
But yeah, so I'm looking forward to that. Be a good challenge.
Yeah.
And then hopefully I can, if I muster through it, it'll be happy days.
Yeah. Cool.
Nice.
Before I go any further, I just want to say thank you to everyone that's sent messages of goodwill to my family and that. Unfortunately, my nan passed away. If you don't know, she passed away on the 9th of July, which is why we've had like a few weeks out, because my mind's been all over the place, as I'm sure you can imagine. But yeah, thank you everyone that's supported me and sent messages to the family. All good stuff. I really appreciate it. But today, I think kind of aptly, I wanted to do the podcast centered around kind of positive thinking, bringing in a bit of Jordan's latest experience where he went to go and see Tony Robbins.
Yeah.
Just marries up perfectly. And yeah, I think it's a good way to come back to kind of just refresh, get into some positive thinking. So, Jordan, you went to go see Tony Robbins.
Yeah, it was insane. It was his Unleash the Power Within
nice
seminar, which was, I mean, I've done a few Tony Robbins things before. I've done the 30-day tapes. I've done the Facebook live thing he did over lockdown, and they both had very positive effects on me. But obviously, it's a completely different ball game when you go into a live seminar, surrounded by 10,000 people that are all, jumping about and that. And it's interesting to see like how you transform as well, because like, so you got there on the Wednesday night to sign up, and there was like, the staff and that were all going crazy, and like very American energy, right? And there was this one woman who was cleaning up rubbish, and she was stood on a table with this bin bag, like dancing and shit and throwing bottles in this bag. And I was like, I'm not fucking getting to that level, because that is I'm gonna be honest, that is correct. That's cringed me out that she's just done that, right? And that's where I was at
Right.
the night before. And then you get there, well, you queue up the next day about 8 o'clock, and then you get in there about 9. And then he comes on at about 10:30, 11. And you're there. There's no allocated breaks on the first day. So you just kind of have to run out to the toilet or run out and get food or whatever. And it's going till midnight. So it's very, very long. And that's one of the things that it kind of teaches you, which is strange, because it's very demanding, both mentally and physically, because every, like, and I'm not joking or exaggerating, every 5 to 6 minutes, the music will pump up and he'll be like, right, let's go, everyone, let's go. You got to get out of your seat. You got to like fucking jump around and shit and dance and, like, for like 15, 20 seconds. And this is every 5 minutes. So you're constantly energized. And it was really interesting because it's like, you know, I sit at home working or whatever in my seat and you know, I feel low energy and stuff.
Yeah.
And yet I was at this seminar and I was sat there, but by getting up, jumping around, dancing, exerting energy every 5 minutes actually gave you energy. It was really, really weird. And then obviously you go through all these things that I'll run through a few of them from the book, these exercises and stuff, and just ways to reframe how you look at life. Like, one of the biggest things is life is always working for you, not to you. So basically that is, you know, you look at a situation, right? And you think, how is this working for me? So I'll give you an example. I'll give you a personal example, right? I won't give any like personal details, but I know someone who wanted a video done for their company, right? And I couldn't do it because I had my arm in a cast. So I was unable to do it. But to be honest, I didn't really see me going that way anyway. Commercial fucking video production, right? Yeah. It wasn't really an interest of mine. But so I had to turn it down because of my arm, right? So this person then goes to a company, and this company produces a video, and I'm just going to put it out there because I've done this for 10 years. I could produce something equal to, if not superior to, that video. Okay. Interesting. Then this person shows me the invoice. Yeah. And this company charged that person £6,500 for that work, right? So again, life is working for you, not to you. What's the scenario there? So I had my arm in a cast, so I couldn't do a job that I had no interest in anyway. But because I didn't do it and just say like, yeah, I'll, you know, whatever, it'll take me about 2 days. I'll do it for like, I don't know, 400, 500. I don't know. Yeah, I'll just throw a fucking number out there, right? Yeah. Because I was unable to do it, he went elsewhere. Because he went elsewhere, he went to a company that knows the going rate of that work. And so through me not doing it, I was able to find out the value of the work that I can actually do. And so, you know, you could say like, oh, you know, oh, fuck's sake, because of my arm, I missed out on a fucking £500 payday. No, shit, actually, because of your arm, you found out that you could potentially start a company that could do and produce work that could make lots of money, you know. So that's an example that I gave myself when hearing about this life is working for you, not to you. You know, you could look at it as a bad thing, like, oh, I missed out, or holy shit, I actually learned here something crazy. So you should always try and look at life in that it's working for you, even as unlikely as it could possibly be. There's always something in a situation that is working for you, and that was one of the big takeaways. But so the first day is very long, and you're learning all of these different things, and then you learn about, and I was incredibly skeptical about this, right? About how energy works, yeah. And I thought, here we fucking go. Right, okay, here we fucking go. And it's like, if you get yourself into a state of like you are fucking unbeatable. Apparently there are scans that show that the energy in your body can produce like almost like a fucking shield, right? And I was like, bollocks. How do they prove this? They make you walk over hot coals at 1200 degrees.
Jesus.
Right? So you do a fire walk, but you have to get yourself in state, otherwise you will burn, right? And by state, I mean, like, you know, you're fucking psyched. You're there and you're ready to fucking do it. And so I thought, fuck it, I'm going to do it. I'm going to really get myself in state. And I was fucking like, I was ready to die. Like, I was that fucking in state. I've been exhausted all day. This is like 11:30 at night. And I just see these fucking, this string of fucking hot coals. And it's a solid like 8 strides.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
So you think how far you can get in 8 strides. It's not fucking short, right? No. And I was just so fucking focused. And then they're just like, and go. And I went, and I'm not joking. I didn't even feel the temperature difference in my feet. And I got to the other end and I'd done it. And I was like, holy fucking shit. I just walked across hot coals that were 1200 degrees. And I can't dip my foot into a hot bath without it instantly getting hot.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And these hot coals were constantly getting shoveled on. Fresh coals. It was red hot, you know. And so that sort of shows you, like, it's hard. When you're not there in the moment, when I'm saying these things, it sounds cheesy, but it is kind of like a, you know, you told yourself that you couldn't, like, be defeated, and you walked across hot coals. You didn't burn, and there were people that burned.
That was flipping with my question.
There were people. My girlfriend's cousin burnt her feet. She went in, she was nervous. Ran across, burnt. Right.
So that's good though.
Yeah,
that's
exactly.
A metric. That's a metric that it's not bollocks.
Yeah,
exactly. Yeah. That's what I mean. And my girlfriend and her family, they've done this 3 times, right? They've done it 3 times, and they were in Singapore for the second time. And the first time they didn't burn their feet. So they thought this is bollocks, right? So they didn't bother getting into state on the second time. They all burnt the bottoms of their feet, blistered the lot, had to get cling film, everything.
Really?
So,
that's mad. That's good. That's really good.
It's fucking nuts. And trust me, I was there like fucking when they were like, the energy will protect your feet. I was rolling my eyes, but I was like, I'm going to give this the benefit of the doubt because I don't want to burn my feet and all fucking honesty.
Yeah.
So, and I was fucking there.
What did you do to get yourself there? What was
so right? So now this is going to cringe people out, and I apologize, but as, you know, I can only be honest. So they say, like, you've got to have a move, right? You've got to have a move that gets you there, right? And so for a lot of people, it's like, yes. For me, it's got to be like a power move, right? So I did like where I hit here and go.
Nice.
So my thing was like that, and it was like fucking, and I was just doing that, and I was just fucking like it's mad. And even just doing that, I actually feel a lot fucking amped up. But I was just like, I didn't care. I was like, there's burning coals in front of me, and I don't fucking care because I know I will walk to the other side and my feet will be fine. I just knew it. It's like I knew it more than I've known anything in my fucking life that I was going to get across, and it was so fucking weird. And there was time that you had 10,000 people walking out to these coals. There was 26 lines of coals. You had fucking time to get in your own head, you know. But yeah, no, but it was awesome. Like the coals thing was really cool. But there was
a waiver.
Huh?
Do you sign a waiver?
You do, yeah. So when you sign up, like you
Because I imagine doing that in America. Fucking hell.
Oh yeah. Shit. Yeah. But it's quite, you know, you walk outside and all you can smell is burning. And it's like, right.
Oh, mate, I like that shit.
But it was awesome.
Yeah.
It was fucking awesome.
That sound cool.
Yeah, no, it was really cool. And then afterwards, like the elation is fucking insane. You know, it's absolutely insane. But yeah, let me just, because this book is broken up into days. There's another great quote. There's just gonna be loads of quotes, but stay in your head, you're dead. And that's very much like, because that's the thing that I really took from it, is because I do it a lot, is I catastrophize. And I kind of realized, because you're in your head, you're thinking about all of the all of the scenarios, and they're always the worst case scenarios. And then I sat there and I thought, right, over the last 5 years, all of the worst case scenarios I've thought about in my head, how many have come true? Zero.
Yeah.
Not one.
Yeah.
And the only place where that was a reality was in my own head.
Yeah.
So the only person that was suffering was me. So it's fucking it's crazy. But yeah, so the first thing they do is you do an exercise. Why are you here? And obviously I won't go into the all what are my answers, but they ask you why are you here, and then like the success cycle, which is potential. And then you take action on that potential, which garners results. The results give you certainty and belief, which then feeds into more potential.
Yeah.
So for example, I'm like, oh, I think I can do a production company that can generate X amount of money. So then I take action and I make that production company. And then I make the videos, and the videos get paid well. And then that then thinks, oh, fuck, there you go. So I can do it. And then, right, how do we take this to the next level, sort of thing? And you can apply that to anything in life. It's also, they also talk about your emotional home, which is where do you go to by default? If you can go to a place of like fucking happiness or excitement, and you see them people who are irritatingly happy all the time, I'm so jealous of them. It's because their emotional home is happiness, and but I found that mine was not sadness, but it wasn't a positive one, which is shit, which I needed to change, because at the end of the day, the only person that's suffering there is me.
Yeah,
but one of the biggest things, right, that he said on the first day, which I thought was insane, is how our minds work, right? Because we're getting so much fucking information all the time, we delete, we distort, and we generalize.
Yeah. And
a lot of the time, we delete, distort, and generalize the good shit, and we focus on the negative. And the best way, to expose how our minds delete, distort, and generalize is, when weirdly enough, I literally had this before I went to Tony Robbins, right? My cousin went on holiday and he wanted to rent a Tesla while he was out there. Couldn't. So he rented is it Polaris? The other electric car, have you heard of them?
Polestar.
Polestar, that's it, right?
Yeah.
I'd never heard of that car before.
Yeah.
Never fucking seen it, heard anything. He mentioned it to me on the phone. Oh, I'm renting one of them because I couldn't get a Tesla. I saw 4 in 2 days.
Yeah.
And that's because my mind was focused on that, whereas before it never was. And it's like, when you get you're getting a new car, or you've got a new car and you rarely ever see it, and then all of a sudden you see it everywhere. It's because before this moment, your mind had no reason to focus on these things. So it was deleting it, or it was distorting reality to not see it. For example, your nose is in your vision 24/7.
Yeah.
Your nose is there, but your mind distorts it to get rid of it because it doesn't serve any purpose.
Yeah.
And so as a rule, unless you train your mind to do otherwise, it will focus on the shit that you like to focus on. And unfortunately, as human beings, we tend to focus on the negative. So if you do that, you'll be deleting and distorting all the good shit. And that's just crap, isn't it? Really?
Yeah.
So yeah. He said, like master the inner world, which, is so important because, like I said, I used to catastrophize all the time, focus on the negative and shit. And if that's all you're focusing on, that's all you're going to see, This is really interesting, right? This is more like, I think, work-based. He said, complexity is the enemy of execution. Sometimes we can over fucking complicate shit, make it too hard or, too complex. And then the execution isn't as good, or it just never gets done. And that actually ties into something that I heard when I was in Dubai last year at a seminar. There was this guy, he was a professional in productivity. That sounds made up, but that's what he said he was. And he said his biggest thing in life is done, not perfect. If you pursue perfection, you're never going to be done. And a lot of the time, the things that you focus on, yes, sometimes the devil's in the details. Sometimes, yes, details are super important. But a lot of the time, no one's going to notice. Only you will notice.
Yeah.
You know, there you go. The Keep It Simple book. Exactly.
Nice.
I'm not perfect. Keep it simple. Complexity is the enemy of execution. And it's so true. Because, you can fucking, the best example was, I remember when I finished my dissertation, fuck me, I worked on that for months and I was terrified to finish it. In my head, it was just never done. And then it was like, well, hang on a minute. When the fuck? How many times am I going to go through this and edit it and edit it and edit it? I'm just never going to be done. And sometimes you just need to draw a line in the sand and say, no, this is done. And what will be, will be. Because if you keep it like, making it complex, you're just never going to get there. It says here, keep it simple and follow through. There is like, it's this Unleash the Power is interesting because there's like all about life, and then it's about your work, and then it's like about marketing. There's a lot about sales and shit. It's quite an all-encompassing one. But yeah, so there's like, there's things here like to influence people, know what influences them, stuff like that. Yeah. But in order to rewire the patterns that we all create, you need to do things like recognize the patterns, and then recognize the patterns that you want, and then utilize those to change and stuff like that, to create new patterns and stuff. But it's all about creating an extraordinary quality of life. You write down what does an extraordinary life look like for you at the next level. Where would you live emotionally, and what would you be fulfilled by? And to be honest, a lot of it was about changing my mentality from being, negative and stuff.
Yeah.
And then what has prevented you from creating your extraordinary life in the past? What has gotten in the way? And what do you need to change now to make life happen on your terms? Now, what are the 2 most stressful thoughts that consistently show up in your life? What tends to trigger them? And what would be the antithesis of your old thoughts? What would be empowering instead? Which is really interesting to think about, because you think about, how you think, but you rarely think about the direct opposite, do you?
You always focus on the one side.
Yeah. So it's interesting to even look at that. Holes Marie says, Jordan, what's the book that you're saying about now, please? And this is actually an Unleash the Power Within workbook that you get at the seminar. I'd imagine these are online. But yeah, then I've got loads of notes. You've got here the science of achievement. Success leaves clues. He always talks about John the Baker. Have you heard the story of John the Baker?
Don't think so.
If you want to bake the best cake in the world, what would you do? Well, if John the Baker is the best baker and makes the best cake in the world, you'd go out, you'd get all of the ingredients that John the Baker has. You'd look at his cookbook and you'd study how John the Baker bakes the cake, and you would replicate everything that John the Baker does. So basically the moral of the story is, if you want to be successful in something and there are people in that field that are already successful, they will have left breadcrumbs to their success. So you need to look into them and just basically copy them, It
makes sense.
Yeah, absolutely. Massive action affects execution. So this is a big thing. I actually had this with my mum the other day, weirdly, because the Unleash the Power thing, it focuses a lot on limiting beliefs, which is things that we tell ourselves to stop ourselves from doing things, right? And my mum is a bit of a nervous driver. And I only live like 45 minutes from my mum, 45 minutes from my mum. But she rarely ever drives over because she's not a very confident driver. And, I said to her, you're on 6 weeks holiday now. so you can just, I work from home, just come over whenever. And then she was, instantly she was like, oh, well, I've got to check my tire pressures. I've got to do my my screen wash. I've got to check my oil. I've got all these things. He listed off these things, right? And in my head, I thought, fucking hell, it's only 10 miles down the road. But I didn't say that. Instead, rather than being like, right, we'll do, I was going over that day anyway. So I thought her limiting beliefs are around these things that her car is going to fucking blow up, right? So I took action without being like, let's take action on this. I just said, okay, when I come over, we'll check your tires. Her tires were absolutely fine. We'll check the oil. Her oil was absolutely fine. Her screen wash was a little bit low, but anyway, so I made sure that all of those limiting factors in her head were taken away.
Yeah.
And that's kind of like what it's saying here, if you have a limiting belief, if you are able to take action against it, you can diminish it quite quickly. But also, if you have an idea, away from limiting beliefs, if you have an idea, take action. So, for example, I did this when I was sat there. So I've wanted to start interviewing people on my main channel around the paranormal and stuff, right? And the Rendlesham investigation has been doing really well. I think it's on like 73,000 views now. It's awesome.
Nice.
Brought in a whole new audience. It's really, really good. And Ronnie in that video is awesome. He's telling stories and stuff. But obviously we're walking around and he's missed certain bits, and he's messaged me saying, oh, I forgot this, this, and this, and all that. So I thought this would be perfect to start this interview series that I want to do. And so I was sat there at Tony Robbins, and he was saying about you have to take action and all the rest of it. And so I literally stopped what I was doing and I text Ronnie, and I was like, right, Ronnie, next week, can we, do this, blah, blah, blah. And I got the confirmation from him there and then. And so then that was it. This thing that I've been putting off for so long, for no fucking reason, I have now booked someone in. So that's it. The action has been made and it's happening now.
Yeah.
So, it was my way of taking action and stopping just this hesitation that I have no idea why why I have it. So, yeah, if you have an idea, just the moment you have the idea, take some form of action, because then it gets it moving, because you're not always going to have the motivation to do these things all the time.
Yeah.
And so whilst it's kind of like strike while the iron's hot, isn't it? Whilst the motivation is there, you just you need to do something that gets it moving. So it then moves on to something called beautiful state. Decide now to live in a beautiful state every day, no matter what. And then you why must you live in a beautiful state? Why will you end suffering as it arises? And this is something that I kind of realized was, because I got quite down, especially since February, I've said it to death, like, how my Facebook fucking tanked and all the rest of it. And then I had a lot of financial uncertainty and all that sort of stuff, right? That put me in such a negative, like, I wouldn't even say mood, I'd say lifestyle, that had to have been rubbing off on without a doubt, had to have been rubbing off on my relationships with my friends, with my family and stuff. And also would have a negative connotation on my job, ironically, because I'm not in the right mindset to fix the issues, because I'm too down in the dumps, right? About, oh, woe is me. And so once you acknowledge where that goes, if you think, right, okay, if I'm in this now for the next 5 years, where the fuck does that end up? Well, I'm telling you now, I'm fucking single. I've probably got a shit relationship with my friends. I've probably got a shit relationship with my family. My career is probably gone. All because I decided that I wanted to be in this fucking shite state rather than fixing it and, getting into a better state. Because at the end of the day, with my situation, as crap as it was, I could still be positive about it if I wanted to.
Yeah.
But I didn't, but I didn't want to. And you just have to acknowledge that where that can go. you know, and then you flip it. You look at the antithesis and you think, you know, what happens if actually you try looking on the bright side of things and you keep smiling and you just try and stay positive, because at the end of the day, you know, you are suffering as well. So you may as well try your best to be in what Tony calls a beautiful state. And then what happens from there? Your relationships get better, you know, your passion for life is better, your day-to-day existence is better, you know, because you're just a lot more positive. Like, I come back from Tony Robbins, right? And then I instantly got like fucking flu, like shivering, like then sweating. My jaw has been locking up. I'm still a bit nasally. I've got a chesty cut. I've been bad, but I've been so positive, which has been, you know, been massive. And last Tuesday, and this is fucking sick, to be honest. Last Tuesday was the quarterfinals of my summer golf doubles, right? And I've been looking forward to that. We've got a game every month, so and I've been looking forward to that for so long. And then, like the night before, 3 a.m., like shivering. I threw up, diarrhea, everything. Right? And I've been like last week. I don't know what happened. I basically had everything, right? And that Tuesday morning, 3 a.m., I've got the game that day at 4 p.m, doubles, quarterfinals. I really want it. It'll be, if I win, you know, the whole thing, I'll be name on the board, all the rest of it, something I've always wanted. And I'm like on death's door. And I just thought to myself, I was like, I can get really fucked off about this, because of all the days, and that day was probably when I was at my worst. And I was like, what would Tony do? I just thought, you know what? I can call up, I can let my partner Luke down, and I can forfeit, or I can fucking go there, and worst case, I lose on the fucking course, right?
Yeah.
And it was that bad, right? My throat was so bad. If I said more than 4 or 5 words, my throat would lock up and be like, oh, fuck. And then I'd need some water. It was horrendous, right? I was weak, all the rest of it. But I thought, fuck this, right? I'm fucking turning up. And I fucking rocked up, right? And we destroyed them.
Jesus.
We fucking destroyed them. We walked off on the 13th hole. So basically the format is, if you play in pairs, you both drive, and then you play alternate shots from whoever played the best drive, right? And then whoever scores the lowest on that hole, that pair wins the hole. So you go 1 up or 2 up, or you half the hole, right? We walked off on the 13th hole. So we walked off with 6 holes to play, because they couldn't mathematically beat us. We were even at 6 holes. We then went 1 up, 2 up, 3 up, 4 up, 5 up, 6 up, 7 up, and they couldn't beat us. It was unfucking believable. And I was so ill. And we fucking destroyed them. It was the best thing ever. But I'm telling you now, if I hadn't have gone to Tony Robbins, I'd have been like, fuck's sake, I can't believe I've waited so long for this quarters. I waited a month and I'm fucking ill and I can't fucking play because I'm fucking ill. I'm going to fucking lose. And all that would have just, and I would have forfeit and I wouldn't have played. Instead, I believed in myself. I thought, fuck it. Do you know what? If I win like this, holy shit, this is going to be sick. This is going to be like a fucking Hollywood movie, man. And we destroyed them. I felt bad. They're both PE teachers. Horrendous start to their summer holidays. But we're through to the semi-finals. You know,
nice.
and I just, you know, it's all about, I made a decision. I made a decision that I wasn't going to be, you know, oh, I'm fucked and I'm not doing it. I thought, no, I'm going to go there and I'm going to worst case, I'm going to lose on the course. Yeah. And I won't lie to you. I was so much more ill over the consequential few days, because I should not have been out there in the fucking weather, you know, walking about. I was so ill. But it was just fucking quality, you know, and that just goes to show, like, what can you achieve if you just say, actually, no, do you know what? Fuck it. No, I am going to give it a go. I am going to try. You know, it was awesome.
Yeah.
It was so awesome. It was perfect, because it was so stacked against us. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I should have you know, but we didn't. And not only did we win, we didn't scrape it. We fucking massacred them. It was nuts. We just, it was brilliant. It was brilliant.
Imagine if
I
you
was talking about it.
imagine if you just didn't go. You would have robbed yourself of that
Exactly.
elation.
And I'd have been so pissed off. I'd have been so pissed off as well.
Yeah.
Because it's really big. I know it's if you don't play golf and that, I know it sounds silly, but in if you go to golf clubs, in the clubhouses, they have boards on the wall.
Yeah.
And they're all for all the different competitions. And then you'll look and it'd be like, I don't know, the Sproulston Summer Championship, right? And then you'll see like fucking D. Smith, 1986. And you think, fucking hell, that was years. So I'm just thinking, like, if we win this, right, someone will walk in there in 2050 and they'll be like, oh, look, 2023, J. Hopes and L. Inwards. That's just fucking cool. Yeah. So I really, really want it. I really want it. And yeah, I was just, like I say, I made a decision. I was like, I could look at this like I'm fucking on death's door of all the fucking, why is this happening to me? But I didn't. I looked at it the other way and we destroyed it. So yeah, it's a great way to look at, how it's so important how you look at life. And I understand, don't get me wrong, I know that there are worse scenarios. I'm not ignorant. I know there are worse scenarios than having the flu and or man flu, whatever you want to call it, and rocking up to a fucking golf match. I get that. But there is still, a point behind it,
It's not just that you feel shit because these things have happened. It's the time you lose, feeling shit about it.
Absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely, man. I mean, I've last few years, it's not been too bad in the last year, touch wood, but last few years, the anxiety, and I think it's been a lot for a lot of people because of lockdowns and shit like that. I've suffered quite a bit with anxiety, and that's a shit place to be mentally. That's a shit place to live, and you just think like all the time wasted in that mindset. If you could get out of that somehow, fucking your life would just be so much better, But yeah, so it's a lot about all that stuff. But you've got to, it's quite scary though, because you've got to go there. Do you know what I mean? You've got to like bathe in it really to identify what's going on. But what tends to trigger your negative emotions and stuff, and then what are you going to do instead? This is quite funny. So when you identify what triggers you to be in a mood, right? And then you should write down some simple ways to break your own pattern because you've set up patterns. Everything in your life is a pattern. So you see something that you don't like, it has an effect on you and it tends to be repetitive, right? So what have I put here? So I put, as I catch the emotion, right? I haven't done this yet, I will admit, but then nothing's annoyed me yet. As I catch the emotion, I will clap and I will shout, woo, in a positive manner to try to diffuse the feeling. So something's pissing me off. I'm like, woo, because then it's like, what the fuck's going on? It's also about like your language that you use. The language that you use is really important. So for example, Tony gives an example, right, where someone has fucked him off. And he uses the word, this guy fucks me off. Right? And then he goes, wait a minute. This guy fascinates me. Right? Because it's like saying, like, this guy is such a twat. But rather than it pissing me off, I'm going to say, wow, why? That is fascinating.
I like that.
Yeah. That is fascinating that you would do that. It's almost saying like, you are that much of a prick. I don't understand how you can be that much of a prick. That is fascinating. And so he just says that when people annoy him, it's like, you fascinate me. That is fascinating.
I like that.
It's good, isn't it? So it's really good that you've just done that. Yeah. So, I think that's a really good one.
Yeah. That's a good way of
it's breaking your pattern rather than being like, oh, you fucked me off. Like, you are fascinating.
Yeah, because you put the onus on them rather than you.
Yeah, exactly.
Make it about them, which is
exactly.
Yeah, it's a better analysis point.
Yeah.
And even if you actually could say that to someone, that's brilliant.
Yeah.
Because it's not a direct insult.
No,
it's just, but it is if they've really pissed you off. It's like, you fascinate me.
Yeah.
Next time I get in an argument, I'm going to use that.
Yeah, because it'll make them think as well. It's like, what do you mean I fascinate you? What? It's like you're fucking. It's like it's the most passive aggressive insult I feel you can possibly do because it sounds positive.
Yeah.
And it has like this sting in the tail somehow.
Like
Yeah,
fascinate.
Yeah. But he does, obviously some things will piss you off. But he said try use the 90-second rule. So if you need to go there, be there, but don't let it, linger like more than 90 seconds, and then just try and do everything you can to pull yourself out of it.
Yeah.
But yeah, also he delves into, which is really interesting. Like whatever people do, they have a reason. And that's more the example that he gave is, like road rage, right? Like say if someone like fucking loses their shit, they're fucking swearing at you, middle finger, all the rest of it. Unless you've like you've smashed into them, chances are the issue that is going on here is not you.
Mm-hmm.
There is something in their life that has led them to be so fucking unhappy that you indicating 2 seconds late has literally thrown their day out of the window, and I kind of applied that to negative comments on my behalf. And I actually responded to someone the other day because he just went in on me for no fucking reason. Like I think it was just something about I was speaking a bit slow or some shit. I don't know. Sometimes I speak slowly. And I just said to him, like, mate, I am really sorry that whatever is going on in your life has meant that you need to take it out on me on the internet. But I hope that it does resolve itself, and I hope you have a better day tomorrow. And if I was that person, I would feel like a bit of a knob.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because you're not getting a rise. You're just getting like, I understand that something is going on because you don't care that much that I talk slowly, surely.
Yeah.
So it's like, and he was very rude about it. He was very aggressive.
I mean,
but it's just like there's something going on with him, not with me.
That one genuinely does fascinate me because is there not an option on YouTube, and I'm pretty sure on Facebook,
there is,
to play at double speed,
increase speed? Yeah.
It's such a weird thing that, again, because it's, I mean, there's like I've never had, because I haven't got really a platform. I remember once someone said, "What did I say?" So the way I say "years" or something, and it's like, I say it weird. It's like, but
why
I can't
does it
change it.
Yeah,
like, it didn't bother me to that extent, but I'm just as an example.
It's a bit strange, isn't it?
But it's like, it's funny because, and I get, it might annoy, it probably annoys you. Like I get it. There's people say stuff, like in scapes that annoys me. But like I understand that, if they've got that accent for 40 years, like 40 years ago, even if I thought, do you know what? Yeah, that does annoy people. I try and change it, like, because it's so ingrained in me over 40 years. Like, it'd be near on impossible, and I'd still say it, and it still annoy you. So like, there's an alternative in there. It's like I carry on saying it, or you just never look at anything I ever say again, and then it won't annoy you.
Yeah. Absolutely.
But it is funny. And I do get it. It is annoying. Yeah.
But would you stop to comment?
Yeah, that's the
point.
I don't understand unless it's like fair criticism. Fair enough. If it's constructive criticism, fair enough. But if it's just like you're just being a dick, like
it's a
I don't understand,
thing, isn't it? Because that's the world we live in now, and it's I mean, like say some things, it's fine to like say stuff, and then but then like say what. There's probably, so if you're taking the time to go on to someone and like really criticize them, I'm not on about someone saying, I'll say, yeah, it's funny, because I do. But if you go on to like criticize someone and actually put them down and be hurtful, harmful, it's a reflection on you, nothing to do with them.
Absolutely.
It's like, but I also think as well, it ties in a little bit to, because we've had a crossover with the new internet and people getting lots of views. And so like back in the day, you'd see movies or different or sell out, and you'd be critical and you'd say, that movie's shit, or he was shit in that, or whatever.
Yeah.
And now people just say that on the internet, but then
but they
people
can
know
actually
who've
see
got
it.
big audiences, they feel it's okay to say that shit.
Yeah.
And I don't know whether it is or isn't. I'm not even in a position to comment. But the trouble is that those celebrities and stuff in the past got big payouts, had training, could deal with it. Nowadays, you've got people who haven't got any of that, and then they're getting these overwhelming comments of stuff. Like, say, we go to the negative, 100 people say positive stuff, and there's one negative or two. People go to that, and they don't know how to deal with it, and they're not getting the they're not getting the pay that these celebrities and stuff get. So it's a weird dynamic that that comes with these people who've got growing platforms, and some people don't know. So I think if you're ever going to do that, just be thoughtful of the person that's receiving it, and reverse it. How would you like it if that was you?
This is my thing, right? This is my thing. If you would say it to their face,
yes, that's a good.
Then put it
perfect.
right.
Yeah.
Now, like some of the things that are said to me on the internet, if you'd say that to my face, you are clearly a fucking animal. So fair play. Yeah. But I can guarantee you, 99.99999% wouldn't do it. So sometimes, because Facebook is fascinating, right? Because Facebook, it's literally their profile to their life.
Yeah.
So sometimes I see a comment and then I'll click on their profile just to see, like, because I'd love to see, like, I remember this woman was fucking horrible. And then she's like, all of her posts about fucking charity work and that. It's like, and like mental health and shit. It's like, hang on a fucking minute. It's fascinating, but literally. But yesterday I had one, right? Her name was Miranda. And she put, can, full stop, you, full stop, talk, full stop, any, full stop, slower, full stop. I put, well, for you, Miranda, I can try. And then she responded with a laughing emoji. So I diffused it. But I just thought, I just sort of wanted her to realize, even though you're commenting on an old video, comments go to the top of the notifications. So I think that's another thing, because I tend to get nastier comments on old videos, and I think that they just think like, oh, they'll never see it. But people, I know I've said it, and that's what Tony says, but genuinely, people are fascinating. And the thing is, if you said some of these things to them in person, they would not like it. But it is what it is. But I must admit, and I hope that it lasts, for the last 2 weeks, I have been so much better when it comes to negative comments. So much better, because I do now think, okay, although this is a personal attack to me, it's not about me. This is about them.
But as well, if you're getting negative comments, it may... Oh, sorry, but it's cut off. Shit, sorry.
No, you're fine.
You're good. Oh, no, it's wigging out. If you get negative comments, again, you're probably getting a bunch of positive comments. And
for sure. Absolutely.
But then also, it just means that you're like doing something out there that's getting attention. And that's also, maybe some people are jealous of that.
But also, don't get me wrong, because it's on a couple of specific videos. One's a time slipping video where evidently I must have just been talking slow that day, but I think a lot of people gain confidence from seeing other people say it.
Yes.
But I put a comment yesterday and pinned it to the top. I was like, I hate to I hate to steal your thunder, but if you're going to comment about me being slow, there is a thing called a cogwheel. And if you click playback, you can increase my speed. Have a great day. But what I also took was, over the last year or so, I have sped up how I talk. Because, to be fair, that could be perfectly
legitimate criticism.
Constructive criticism, which is fine. But when you say, talk faster, you fucking spastic, that's not constructive. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, that's where I draw the line.
And then... Again, what you said, you think of the person saying that. If you're typing that on the internet and using those words, like,
what sort of person are you?
What are you doing with your life?
Yeah,
like,
absolutely.
Like, using those words on the internet in 2023, and it's like, you're a waste, man.
That's it.
Yeah, exactly.
The thing you've got, that's the mentality or the mindset you have to be in to actually comment, even if you just scroll over a video and you don't like the person for whatever reason, you don't like them speaking, the way they speak, the words they use, and the language, whatever.
Yeah, just don't watch it.
Just go past
Right.
it.
The best one. That was last week. This was so slow, I couldn't wait for it to end. Just leave. What are you doing? Just scroll away.
I tell you what, I'm going to sit here and watch it till the end.
Why?
Annoyed that it's speaking slow.
Just
give
leave.
you views. Give this person that you don't like to speaking slow views, and
just go. I'm not keeping you here. It's mental.
Word.
It's so fascinating. View. It's so fascinating, and I can laugh about it, which is great.
Yeah.
But yeah, but that is what I think. Like a lot of the time, even in like if you have an argument with someone, or there's often other things going on. It's not necessarily, and sometimes it's obvious. Do you know what I mean? Like fucking hell, I didn't put the tea towel back in the right place. I'm not saying this. I'm just giving a random example. This hasn't happened, but and then you think, hang on a minute, this can't be about a fucking tea towel.
No.
You know what I mean? So sometimes you just got to think. But yeah, it's just about, like I say, just recognizing all this sort of stuff. It's really interesting. Like I've had conversations with people in the last 2 weeks, and I'm really identifying different things, how people talk, whether they tend to use negative words to describe things or limiting things, it'll never happen, or all this, all that sort of shit. It's very
that stuff on limiting beliefs. It's so powerful. Like when I did my coaching course, they talked about that a lot, and it's so interesting. I was like the analogy with the flea. The flea in a glass jar. Like a flea can jump.
Oh, jumping, yeah.
But you put the lid on, it'll only jump to that height, and then it'll have offspring, and its offspring will only ever jump to that height. And it's so interesting, limiting beliefs and what you tell yourself. And like you said, the brain and the body are a lot more powerful than we give it credit. And sometimes, you just got to take action. And the good thing about the good thing about taking action is like when, for instance, with the golfing thing and being ill, once you push through that, you realize that you can push through that. Like I had the same thing in Peru, got really sick on the mountain. That was like more circumstantial because I couldn't go back. Because it's just as far, so I had to keep going, and I didn't want to, and I would have quit. Like literally, if you said no, because I was like a real bad diarrhea, I couldn't take any fluids, and I was burning tons of calories, and I had nothing in my body. But like, it's interesting, but then when you do push through, you're like, oh shit, I can actually.
That sounds a little bit similar to the principle of in a way of burning your boats. Like you say, it was just as far to go back. You may as well go forwards.
Exactly,
there's no point going backwards.
That's
like the analogy of they rocked up that army that rocked up to that Greek island or wherever it was, and they had to win, so they burnt their boats on the shores, so they had no choice but to go and take the city, otherwise they would die.
And that mindset,
all of a sudden the stakes are fucking, it's do or die.
It's interesting you talked about I don't know what the word you said, but it maybe it's like momentum, but basically when you take action, obviously you get results from that action, and it's a cycle. And I heard Joe Rogan speaking about this yesterday, and it's like momentum. It's so powerful. And I was thinking about back when we started, I took the action to get the printer to do like the first couple of t-shirts, and then you get some traction and sales, and then you get a buzz off that, and then you reinvest, and and that momentum in something is so. But if you never start, and even if you fail, and then if you get a little spark of something, and you can catch that momentum, that's like so powerful.
Definitely. I'm the biggest believer in the world of failing forward. And so many people are scared of failure. And I think the gym taught me this, because, when you get to a point in the gym where you want to do 6 reps, but you got 5.5, that shows you where you're at, not like where you will always be, you know? And it's just like failure is just, I think, one of the best things in the world, because all it'll do is it'll teach you, okay, so that didn't work, but that doesn't mean that it can't work in a different way. But you've now learned to not do what you've just done. Failure is one of the greatest tools for success, without a fucking doubt.
Yeah,
You know,
100%.
but so many people are so scared of failure, and it's literally, if you can change your perception on that, that it's one of the best things in the fucking world. You know, I think you'll be, you know, you're destined for success.
Yeah.
It's like there was Edison failed in making the light bulb 1,000 times.
Yeah,
whatever,
mate.
you know,
So
that sort of
many.
stuff.
The KFC story.
KFC guy.
There's so many of these stories. When I was thinking about something and I put failure into it, I just like a frame in my head. It's like, we're gonna die. Like, you're gonna die, and you're not gonna be remembered. Literally, your family will remember. You know, if your close family will, and then eventually,
a couple of generations, and
in
then
100 years, like, you'll just dust.
Yeah.
It's nothing.
Yeah.
So no one gives a shit either.
Yeah.
So like,
Yeah.
you know what? So what? What, mate? You fuck up, someone laughs at you. Okay.
Yeah. At least you gave it a go.
You gave it a go. You did it again. You know, they laugh at you again. Okay. So like, so what? But and actually, that's probably in your head. No one's probably going to laugh, because most people are just like, oh well, you know, at least you're giving it a go. And if someone is laughing at you, it's probably a person who's too scared to give it a go themselves.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Absolutely. No, it's absolutely right. Yeah, I mean, there's so much in this book. I wouldn't lie to you. I'll tell you one of the things I was gutted I did miss, and I missed it because there was some downsides, right?
Okay.
There was some downsides. There was getting to a point where it was a bit of a joke. So Tony, understandably, because he's getting older now and his voice is fucked. He only actually did 2 of the 4 days. But to be fair,
Right.
on the second day, a guy called Joseph, he was fucking awesome. He was brilliant. And then there's another guy called, didn't like him. Can't remember his name.
Yeah.
Anyway, didn't like him. But this guy that I didn't like, he was without doubt Tony's fall guy. His fall guy to sell other courses, right?
Got black hair. Glasses, short.
No, but he was there. He did an hour that Dean Magniozzi or some shit. He came out and he did this long fucking story, right? And then at the end, he was like, and it wasn't possible without business mastery. And then it's like, go to the stalls, and then there'd be an hour break. It's like, oh, fuck off. I don't want to do, but I'm here to do fucking UPW. I don't give a shit about business mastery. I'm sure it's great, but don't fucking sell it to me right now. But yeah, no, he made me fucking die. He did, like, because the thing is, like, just be genuine, right? I don't get. So he was saying, like, so I my wife is like the best hairstylist in LA or some shit. I don't know, right? And he was like, and the thing that she'd do hair extensions, right? And she'd charge $3,000. And I was like, oh my God, $3,000 for that. And she was like, but it's not about the money. I never think about the money. I think about how beautiful the women look when they walk out the door. And I just thought, right, okay, I get it. You probably do genuinely care about the women, how they look when you walk out the door. But don't fucking tell me you don't give a shit that you charge $3,000 a pop. Because if you didn't, you'd charge $100 a pop. So fuck it, you know,
for free.
Yeah, so don't fucking bullshit. Don't add that bit in. Just because it's bollocks.
Care how they look, because when people see it, they want it to go, yeah, that's worth $3,000.
Yeah, exactly. So don't fucking lie. But it's like, and she got to that point because she did business mastery. So fuck off. But that was the thing. They pitched business mastery about 4 or 5 times. But after they pitch it, they then have like an hour break so you can go to the fucking stall to sign up for business mastery, which by the way is $14,000. But it's fucking mate, it's fucking nuts. But the never did that on Tony's days. Tony always went all the way through. So that's why I think, like, literally, but then everyone loves Tony, you see. So I think literally these guys come out and they're like, Tony's like, look, I'm going to pay you well, but they're going to hate you. Like, when they start speaking, mate, like fucking 60, 70% go for lunch. They just walk out because they know what's coming.
About this, so I've been to a couple of these, like Gary Vee one. So the format of those shows, and I imagine it's the same, it's like you've got your big catch, like Tony Robbins gets, so everyone goes to see him. These other people, they pay him
to be on the call.
They pay him to be. They don't get paid, and then they get the opportunity to sell their course, and that's how they get. So that's the So you're going there and you're seeing these people come up and you're like, well, fucking hell, these must be good. They got invited.
Yeah.
No, they didn't get invited. They're paying to be there to sell you the course.
Yeah.
And more than likely, the event, whoever's sorting it, is getting commission on their course. So like they want as many of them as possible in there. And that's why they get Gary Vee at these ones. Gary Vee's not selling. He's not saying go to the back of the room because everyone's there to see him. But everyone up till him, he's on the last day or whatever. Everyone up to him, they're like selling. Oh, you know, limit time only. You can only get it here. Come to the back. Blah, 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 blah. There's a few. Because that's like a bit old now, and everyone's getting used to it and knows the crack. There's a few now that are coming up that are actually a bit more authentic and genuine, where they won't do any selling. But if you ever go to these events and you didn't know that, it's worth noting. Because my thing was like, these guys are legit. They've been invited. They're getting paid.
Yeah,
you know, they must be smashing it, but they're not. So you can get some. You can actually get some charlatans that come through.
Yeah. See, I thought this guy was right. He was so fucking out of touch, right? Like he was saying about like how you know, he's works with this guy, but he only makes $1 million a month. And I just thought, to say that offhand, first of all, you're a prick. But anyway, right. So I then went home and I looked at this guy's net worth. And obviously, don't get me wrong, I would love a net worth of $5 million. But then I thought, hang on a fucking minute. You were saying that this guy who makes $1 million a month isn't doing that great, and yet you're only worth $5 million.
Yeah,
I know only,
exactly.
but
exactly, And you know, that's the thing. It's like playing on words, and he's probably turning over, even if he's legit saying this.
And that's net, so that'll be property and shit.
Exactly. If he's turning over that, he's probably getting nowhere near that. You know, the business can do $1 million a month, and he, you know, could be making 10% or whatever. But a lot of it's spin on words, and a lot of false numbers getting thrown out. Yeah,
for sure. But like, so that's the thing, like. So the sales pitches kind of took you out of it, but there are how I looked at it. And I'm a skeptical person. Like I say, I was skeptical of the energy shit and all the rest of it until I actually did the thing. But the thing is, there's still some great tools. There's still some awesome stuff in there. You know, to take into your life and how to look at stuff. You know, and Dan T in the chat has pulled me up on something, which you're absolutely right. No, he's interesting or fascinating. Jordan is not a prick. That is correct. That is absolutely correct. Let me just hang on. I messaged Frankie, but I just want to get his name. I can't believe I've literally been joking about him since I got back. What was his Scott? That was his name. His name was Scott. Right? Scott.
What's his surname?
Hang on. Let me just
Pilgrim.
Scott. If I type in UPW, surely it'll come up. Here he is, Scott Harris. Hate to call you out, Scott. CEO and founder of Ultimate Coach. Yeah, I'm sure he's a nice guy, but he's just a salesman, you know. And the thing is, like, the only time I feel bad, but like the only time these guys would get like big reactions is when they're talking about Tony. You know? And it's just like you're just hype men, like, you know.
Yeah.
But it would be annoying because sometimes they'd be telling these awesome stories and like inspirational stories, and it's just like, I know what's here it comes. Wait for it, and that's because of business mastery.
But that's the thing. It's all the best sales in the world. It's all story based, isn't it? And then I think the more of events that you go to of these type, like you kind of you see that, you know, come to the back of the room.
But UPW isn't cheap though. Do you know what I mean? It's like, do this afterwards. Do you know what I mean? Or like, I don't know. But they did like this that's what I was getting at, because I know that you really like this, Dan, and I wish I'd stayed for it. But basically on the second day, it turned into a fucking sales pitch, and it was a 70-minute break. And then apparently there was another sales pitch afterwards. And then right at the end, and I should have gone back for it, they were doing about mirroring. But I didn't pay for it. I didn't see it. Mirroring's quite interesting, isn't it?
Yeah, it's very powerful. There's some good courses on it. I was thinking about all of this stuff the other day, and like, there's a couple of components to it. A lot of it is just already been done through even hundreds of years ago. There's so many like if you look at all the Stoic stuff and all the ancient books and that, a lot of this is just all kind of like rewritten, repackaged. No one is like really inventing the wheel nowadays. They might claim that they are, but there's a lot you can get from old books. And then another component to it is like it's good to get you in the. It's good to be positive and forward thinking and have that momentum, but you can get caught up in going to too many of these things or taking too much advice for different people. And like I said, it's unless you're taking the action, like if you narrow your focus in on like one or two, or I'll say probably two specific people, and just take action and then go back to it, rather than, because I've done this before in the past. I've consumed this and that, and I'll watch this, and then I get motivated, and then I go here, and undoubtedly some of it has definitely helped and worked, but you can get caught up in like when really you should just be taking action, like do something, take some action, get some momentum, build on something, go back to it.
Absolutely, because that's one of the questions like that I had in my head, because some of the people there, right, they're like, oh, I go to every UPW. He does like 4, 5, 6 a year, I think, all around the world. Like, excuse me, I go to every single one, and I just think, I'm glad that I'm here, because I was in a rut and I needed to get out of it, right? And it's really fucking helped me.
Yeah,
I don't feel like if I need to go to one in 2 months, what the fuck am I doing? Exactly, you're doing something wrong.
Do
you know what I mean? It's like you surely this should you should set patterns and change so that all right, I would quite like to go to one in a few years' time, you know, because it was really fun and it was really interesting. But if you got to go every few months, you're doing something wrong. You're not you're not doing it right. You're absolutely right. I don't understand like how, you know, you should, because like this, right? So on the second day, introduction to neuro-associative conditioning, the ultimate success formula. This is his ultimate success formula, right? 5 steps. Know your outcome. Clarity is power. Number 2, know your reasons why. Number 3, take massive action. There it is again. Number 4, know what you are getting. Number 5, change your approach if needed. That is his ultimate success formula. Know your outcome, know your reasons why, take massive action, know what you are getting, change your approach. So, for example, he gives the example of, right, Tiger Woods bursts onto the scene at 19, even though obviously he was putting the work in since he was 3 years old. Bursts onto the scene. Fucking crazy. Wins everything. Oh my God, this guy's a fucking prodigy, right? He has the audacity to change his fucking swing. The guy's the greatest on earth. He changes his swing because he knows he can be better. But as I found out this year, if you change your swing, you will go backwards before you go forwards, right? So all of a sudden, this kid who they're like, fuck me, he's the fucking best ever. All of a sudden, he changes his swing and he goes backwards a bit and he's not winning for a little while. And now everyone's like, oh, we told you, flash in the pan. We told you. He changed his approach and he went on to be the fucking greatest of all time in golf, right? And he won far more than he ever would have done if he'd have just been happy with how his swing was, right? So I guess that's what they're saying with change your approach if needed, you know, because sometimes even if you're killing it, you can do even better if you tweak some things. But yeah, so there you go. Know your outcome. But this is what I mean. So how many times do I need to go and be told this success formula? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Surely you write it down once.
Yeah. A lot of it, again, I've been writing notes on what you said, and there's some new stuff in there which is brilliant, but then a lot of the stuff I've heard before from different people, and you know, I think it's different people say different things, and if you like somebody, which kind of helps, but it's not necessary. You know, you can take that information from them. Ultimately, wherever you're getting information, if it makes you better and you do take action, and then you get momentum, then that's good. You know, stick with that. But like anything, like even like reading books, I read books or it's podcasts and that, and I fall victim, and I thought, you know, I'll buy another book after that, buy another book, and then it's like just get one book, and then actually take action on the stuff that's in the book rather than getting another book and another book. You know, just be a bit more hyper focused.
Yeah, because I feel like if you're going to like 5 or 6 seminars a year, or you're getting loads of books a year, you start to relate, or I would anyway, you'll start to relate the latest release of the book to then thinking, well, I need to get that to be successful. I need to go to that seminar to be successful, rather than actually taking in what is said in the book originally or the one seminar and going, right, I'll act on that and I'll continue to, you know, basically build on my success. You then link it to going, I have to go to that next one to be successful. That's what I feel like that's probably what they're doing.
I think the caveat to that is that if you're killing it and smashing it and all these courses are really helping, and then you're finding that you're going to these courses and then you're coming back and really, like, you know, using it and smashing it, brilliant, keep doing it because it's working for you. But like I say, if you keep going to it and you're not doing the stuff in the background, like, don't keep going to it, just work on that part.
Absolutely,
work on the action part. And then, you know, I think some people will agree with them, some people don't. There's lots of people who do very well without going to any of this stuff. So, you know, it's each their own, but like I say, I think whatever your vice is, as long as it's making you better, and you do take action, then, you know, use that.
Yeah, I think it's good advice.
No, I completely agree. But I, you know, I was so glad that I went. It was fucking awesome. But I'd like to go. I need to go. Yeah, I'll definitely. And I was highly. Well, you were there, Dan. I don't know if you saw the pitch.
No, I did, mate. I
just looked across. I was like, "What the fuck?"
So that's my. I've created him to go to stuff.
Yes, to free up time.
So fun.
It's awesome though, you know, and to see Tony, like, he is a monster. He's like 6'7".
Yeah,
like,
he's crazy.
Huge.
Yeah.
His whole so interesting. I was going to say fascinating, but I didn't want to be patronising. It's so interesting. And how he's on stage and like how much calories and stuff he burns when he's on stage and the energy he gives off and just his whole backstory is very interesting. He's like, he does come across as like 90% authentic. Obviously there are times when he's got to sell some shit. And you know that he's not fully authentic, but you know, he makes a lot of money. So.
Yeah. I mean, if you watch some of the videos of his like one-on-one interventions that he's done with people, like, there's a really famous one he did with that suicidal guy where he just fucking broke his pattern. He definitely, he knows his shit when it comes to psychology and that, without a doubt. And I mean, he has, as he told us many times, he has 111 businesses.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah. But
that's why you need business mastery.
Yeah, that's why you need business mastery. But he said for the first 30 years he had one.
Okay. Yeah,
which I think is important.
Yeah.
You know, so he's not saying go out there and fucking make, you know, it's like, no, become successful. Because then also, like, I guess, although this is the other thing with Tony, right? I'm sure he's got 111 businesses, but surely any business would just want his name attached to them.
Yeah, it's true.
And I'm sure that's probably 90% of them, right? I'm sure he does fuck all. It's just his name's on them.
Yeah. It's weird, isn't it? I wonder why it's so specific about saying the number, because you just say, I've got over 100 businesses.
Yeah, 111.
There must be something in. Maybe it's a number that you remember, because obviously that sticks with me, that number. And you said it.
Yeah.
He's actually only got 42.
Yeah. But yeah, no, but it was you know, it was really cool. And then the last day was about healthy, like, living and stuff, you know, which obviously, because my education background and stuff, I knew quite well, but it was still cool to go over them again and stuff. But then this woman comes out and she says how she's a gold medal American triathlete or some shit. And would you believe it? Somehow it was a business mastery pitch. So we tapped out at that point. 4 o'clock on the Sunday. We were like, okay, that'll do. We got to eat veg and sign up for business mastery.
I see 10,000 people there. How many people do you think signed up to the mass business?
Oh, but to be fair, mate,
lot.
every fucking time that table was just packed.
Yeah.
So it works.
If you think 10% for 1,000 people sign up to that,
yeah,
and it's what? How much was it?
I believe it was around $14,000.
Jesus,
Yeah.
that is some mega money.
Yeah, it's big.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what was cool. Saturday night surprise act, and it was just it wasn't like a speech or anything. Russell Brand stand up. He was
nice.
fucking
Really?
funny.
Oh, that's interesting,
mate.
Yeah.
He was so funny, and he loves Tony, and he's done lots of his stuff. But he was ripping into him at the same time.
Oh, was he? No, that's
funny.
good.
Yeah, it was so fucking funny. Yeah.
What about the going to the back of the room sort of thing, or just the
all the selling and all the energy and shit. And he was like, right, you need to cut that fucking jumping shit out because we're British. We're not fucking American. All right. It's the first thing he said.
I like that. In fact, that's clever to do that.
Yeah, definitely. And then he was doing all jokes about like COVID and shit. And because obviously he's big into all that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
In that. But yeah, it was fucking awesome. And I was stood like 2-3 people from the front. It was, but he did a full hour. He come on at 10:30 at night, and he did a full hour, and he was awesome. He really was quality. So funny. I was in stitches. But that was awesome. Yeah, definitely. So that was fantastic. But no, I would recommend it to anyone. I really would. You know, just to if anything, just to question your own beliefs. And when I say beliefs, I don't mean like religion or anything. I just mean like, fuck, do I tend to be a bit negative when I don't really need to be? Because even just that, you know, Tony says about how in life 2 degrees, you know, if you set off to America, I'm going to butcher this, but if you set off to America and you've got a 2-degree differential, one person will end up in Canada, another person will end up in Brazil if you're 2 degrees off at the start.
Yeah.
And it just goes to show us the slightest changes can make the world of difference to your life down the line. So
belief systems are really interesting because you form a lot of them when you're young, and you never question them. They're just in there, and you're like, I believe that because of this. And actually, when you start to self-analyze why you have certain belief systems or question it, it's really interesting because you're like, oh, well,
absolutely.
Why do I believe that? Where's that come from? What age did it? And like you make patterns in your head. So, and some of them are super hard to change. Some people cannot actually change them.
No,
but if you are conscious of it and you go over it, and you can relay the pathways if they're negative belief patterns. So it is possible to do that.
Yeah, absolutely. I'll tell you
how much was it, bro? I'll write that down. Are you able to say how much it was, or?
So I was very, very fortunate that Maya's parents gifted it to us.
Oh,
cool. Because they're very firm believers in it. And
probably didn't ask.
Yeah. So, but it is. You can get so the band goes silver, gold, ruby, silver, gold, VIP, ruby, diamond, and then solitaire. Which solitaire you have to? I know for solitaire you have to have spent on the university thing that they do. You have to have spent over $100,000 on Tony Robbins shit to get invited into solitaire to then pay for solitaire, and you're literally right at the front.
I mean, I don't even know what solitaire is. There's levels. It used to be like the highest was platinum. Like, what is solitaire?
Solitaire, mate. Yeah,
that's a game.
Yeah, but we were ruby, so we were the third back. Ruby. Yes, you had solitaire, diamond, then ruby. But yeah, So. But I think silver starts at about, I want to say, 600 to 800.
Oh, that's fine. That's it.
Yeah. I think I'm pulling this out of my arse. Well, I'm not pulling it out of my arse. I think ruby was about 1,800.
Okay.
I think.
Cool.
So obviously, I'm very grateful. Thank you so much, Sean and Janine. Like fucking, Jesus Christ. but yeah, so that's how much it was. And then I know that the diamond upgrade was an additional 1,000 on top. So, but interestingly, and I know, again, very fortunate, very grateful, that I didn't pay for it. Would I, after doing it? I think as an investment in myself, if I could afford it, I would do it. I would do it.
Yeah,
I really do. But also there is also, because there was 10,000 people there, and then there was 2,500 people on screens. So you can also do it remotely from home. And I think that's about 400 or 500, which, although you don't get the atmosphere, you still get everything,
Yeah.
And I did.
Yeah,
I did. You did it as well. I did the Facebook Live one last. We did that, didn't we?
Yeah.
And that was, that was fantastic.
If you go in on silver,
yeah,
there's I don't know how the difference in all the levels, but like you're going to get as much. You're going to get a good amount of benefit. As
definitely. All it is, it's just the only. It's how far back you are. Yeah, exactly. That's all.
Yeah. Cool.
Yeah, but no, it was fantastic though. It really was. And yeah, we'll just see what effects it has going forward.
Yeah,
keep that momentum going.
Yeah, absolutely.
Keep it going.
But yeah, I'm glad. I would have been back in the gym last week, but I've just been. I mean, when you're like you're the kind of ill where you think
you can get
physical exertion will be a negative. So
yeah,
that's why I kind of, as I found out with the golf, but yeah, so I just held off on it. But yeah, so.
Yeah, I think for me personally, going to the gym has been something I've really tried to stick hard with. I've only missed one day so far, and that was for my nan's funeral. I didn't go on my nan's funeral.
Oh, wow.
And I've not missed one other day since
that's awesome.
Mid-April.
I meant to ask you, actually. I meant to ask you how you've been getting on with the gym, all things considered.
Yeah,
so the fact that you've still been going is fantastic.
Still been going, yeah. The only day I didn't go, like I said, was my nan's funeral, which has happened to be on a Thursday, which is when I normally do legs.
Yeah.
And I was one of the pallbearers, so I really didn't want to fuck that up because you carry a coffin. You just don't want to fuck that up.
No,
so yeah,
I almost fucked that up on my nan's. I almost fell into the grave.
Oh shit.
No.
Yeah, I come so close to because there's me and my cousins doing it, and obviously there's no practice run or anything. You just do it, and like as we were coming in, my other cousin like veered off to the right, and I was literally on the edge, like trying to pull it over. Because I was front left, I believe. I was trying to like pull it over back, but trying to look graceful as well, because everyone's watching. It's a sad time.
Yeah.
And I just had this thing. If I slip now, obviously if I go, it all goes. Can you imagine that falling and that that comes in on top of it? Awful.
Dear.
But luckily I shimmied it over.
Yeah, because you get, I don't know about you, Dan, but you get no like advice or training on how to do it until you get there.
Like, well, you're like, you think about it, you're carrying a coffin over a 6 foot drop with handles that come out which aren't very far, and it's like it was all. It's just weird, and I was upset anyway. Like my head wasn't really know what's going on, and then as we walked over, I was like thinking, I'm gonna fucking fall in.
Fucking hell.
And and it's just like, obviously it's just a weird situation, so you can't just be like, stop a minute, to me, to you. You can't really even talk to anyone. And I was crying as well, so it's all fucking.
But it was me, my cousin. Well, me and my two cousins were the three family members, and I think they had 3 members from the funeral service doing the pallbearing as well. So literally just turned up. They went, which family members are doing it? You. Laid us all out. Just went, you're about the same height. I had to go to the front. I was the same position you were, Dan, front left.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, what the fuck are we doing? And the bloke who was running it said, remember not to hold the handles. And I was like, why? And he's like, because they're for decoration only. Because my nanny's being cremated, they obviously didn't really have to worry about the handles because there would be metal normally. So they were just decoration. So we had to put, like, literally feed it out, get it up, like, all together. And he did say, put your left leg first. But honestly, I think I put my left leg first, and everyone else, both my cousins, put their right leg out first. We managed to get it to where it needed to go. without any hiccups, you know.
Dramas, mate. It's a palaver, isn't it?
The entire time I was just like, please nothing go wrong. Please. Yeah. But also, don't want to complain, but no padding either. So it was digging into his shoulder quite a bit, but you know, you just soldier through. But
I'm short as well. My cousins are shorter than me, so it's like, you know, I was the tall guy, which I was bearing most of the weight. Weird, man. Weird.
Yeah.
Just a weird situation.
I was astounded that there was no build up to it. They didn't just go, oh, by the way, here's an information pack about the best way to do it or what you should expect on the day.
Off you go.
Just rocked up, just like, you. There. Don't hold the handles. Off we go. I was like, okay. But yeah, it was a good good send off. And nothing went wrong.
There should be a handover as you get to the hole. Should be like, right, you've got it to here. Let the pros go in.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know because the whole lower end thing, we never had to do that because she was being cremated. We just had to put her on like a plinth thing,
right?
That had rollers on it, so you just lift it up and like kind of gently push it forwards. But the whole getting it back down and then lower it into a hole, that would have been a whole different story.
Yeah, I can't remember I just remember almost falling in, and I can't remember the next bit, whether we put it down and then they take over. God knows. I'll have to have a look at some pictures.
Well, anyway, on that cheery note, thank you for joining us. Remember to think positively, you know.
Oh, that positive.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That really fascinates me, that. Remember that.
Yeah,
Use fascination. Yeah, thanks for joining us, everyone. Thank you, Jordan, for taking the lead on that and
that's right.
Thank you, mate.
Sharing the wisdom that you got from Tony. And we'll see you in the next one. Up the APMA. See you later. Bye.
Bye.